here in Montgomery, Alabama. The Aspire TV presents the SIAC Football Championship game. The Eastern Division champion, Fort Valley State Wildcats, taking on the Western Division champion, Kentucky State University Thorobreads. Hello, everybody. My name is James Verrett, along with Eric Tabor. And Eric, we are finally here. This long season that started at the end of August now comes down to two teams that are, one, trying to make history for their first ever title, and another trying to regain that championship feeling.
I've been looking forward to this weekend since the beginning of the season. Hallelujah, let's pass the gravy. It's time to decide a conference champion.
We're not at Thanksgiving yet. Now let's talk about the visiting team, which will be Fort Valley Wildcats under head coach Kevin Porter. He has a brand new quarterback, sort of back to the future in Otis Brown. He was a quarterback before, played another position. Now he's back at QB?
He is. He started off the season at wide receiver. Due to an injury to their starting quarterback, he moved back over to quarterback. So look for him to do some great things. He is an all-purpose guy. I even look for him to flip dogs at halftime.
All right. For Kentucky State University Thorobreads, they're led by John L. Smith, their first-year head coach. Legendary coach, has coached at Michigan State, Arkansas, also Louisville. But today and tonight, he is taking his young team, led by an even younger quarterback, true freshman Jules St. G, who is also SIAC Player of the Year as a freshman.
And I look forward to seeing this man. Anytime you talk about Kentucky State, you talk about a ground and pound attack. But in this case, I look forward to St. Guy throwing the football, moving the ball downfield, and helping this team to win a conference championship. First time ever.
Two teams enter. One team will leave as champions tonight here in Montgomery, Alabama. Aspire presents the SIAC Football Championship game. Stay tuned. We'll have starting lineups and kickoff coming up next. And welcome back to the capital city of dreams, Montgomery, Alabama. Aspire TV presents the SIAC Championship game at historic Cramton Bowl here in downtown Montgomery. And we are ready for the coin toss, the ceremonial coin toss for the 2016 football championship. And you see the head coach for Fort Valley in his first season, Kevin Porter. And he has, Eric, brought his team from basically out of nowhere into a championship game.
He literally arrived in the middle of the summer. Started off this season, he's 4-6, but he has turned his program around and led them to an SIAC conference championship literally from nothing.
And for the team that will be our homestanding with the yellow hat on, he'll be taking his team onto the field, the legendary John L. Smith. And you see him running out on the field. He has had head coaching stops at Michigan State, Louisville, Arkansas, Utah State, just to name a few, and now he is residing at Kentucky State, and in his first season by defeating Tuskegee and Miles, who was the reigning champion until they were upended and lost the Western Division title to Kentucky State. This is their first ever trip to the championship game, and Eric, everyone that I've seen in green and gold is excited.
At the hotel, this town almost has been painted green and gold. Everybody from Lexington, Kentucky to Concord to Louisville is excited to see this team in the conference championship.
Team out of Frankfort, Kentucky is Kentucky State. They will have the white helmets, green jerseys, white pants, and the team in all white with the blue and gold helmets. Fort Valley State in search of their 13th football championship in the SIAC.
And the amazing thing, their last conference championship was in 1999, so they've had a long drought.
And we're almost ready for kickoff here at Fort Valley, here in Montgomery, Alabama, at the Cramton Bowl. Fort Valley will kick, and it will be Juan Cerna who will perform the kicking duties for the Wildcats. And back deep for Kentucky State will be Reginald Harris as the lone back. Should be an interesting ball game. Last time out, it was Kentucky State winners 26-10.
when you look at that ball game, a few things stick out.
Harris will take it at his own 10-yard line, has some room to run, gets out to the 20, met by a host of white jerseys, and gets out to about the 24, 25-yard line. You should see some youthful exuberance. Why? Because both of these teams are made up majority of freshmen and sophomores. Both are led by guys who not necessarily were supposed to be the leaders of the team to start the season. And for Kentucky State, their freshman of the year in the SIAC, Jules St. G., the young man out of Lakeland, Florida, Kathleen High School, he has definitely taken the reins, so to speak, of the Thoroughbreds and led this team to the title game. And on their first play, Thoroughbreds run, and it is Lavelle Cloud with the opening carry to get them a first down, and what they want to do is spread, but run the football, Eric.
They love to run the football, and one thing I loved about this is the quarterback, G, throws a block downfield to spring his running back for big yards. As an offensive guy, that's what you love to see.
G, while he was in high school, played quarterback and also wide receiver, known as a very good blocking wide receiver, but his talent is needed most at quarterback here for the team from Frankfort. 1st and 10 now at the 42. Give it to Cloud once again. He tries to spread it out, but this time he goes nowhere fast, met by a host of white jerseys. Leading the way, Kentron James on the tackle. And let's take a look at that offensive line for Kentucky State. Campbell, Moaga, Craig, Brace, and Watson. And backs and receivers, Harris, Ford, Slaughter, Johnson, and Ramsey with St. G at quarterback. 2nd down and long, G. Nice throw and catch. Reception made by Demetrius Anderson, and he's able to get some of those negative yards back to bring up a 3rd down situation.
One of the things we're going to see from this Fort Valley defense is basically, number one, you're going to see Brian Walker, all over the field. He's what they call the buck on that defense. Basically, he's that hybrid linebacker / defensive back.
And for Anderson, that's his 42nd catch of the year, bringing up a 3rd down and about 4. Pitch and catch goes nowhere fast, intended for Jonathan Powell, but that is incomplete. And when we talked to head coach John L. Smith, he did say that he really did not expect his team to do all of the things that they've done so far this season, but they have believed in the system, and the system has allowed them to get in this position. They say that for Jules St. G, his maturity is still an ongoing process. Punting situation, and Warren will punt for Kentucky State. And they will let it go and take a Kentucky State bounce, but no, it goes into the end zone for a touchback. And it'll be Fort Valley's opportunity to have their first offensive series. What should we see from Fort Valley coming out? They only scored 10 points last time they faced Kentucky State.
They've got to be more physical at the point of attack. This is a finesse team. They're young, 30 freshmen, and they've grown up this season. So bottom line now, it's time to get physical. It's time to take the cuffs off and play football.
And you see the signal caller, Otis Brown. He started the season, our first game here on Aspire, as a wide receiver. Had a wonderful game against Miles in a losing effort, but he was a quarterback before Kevin Porter came on. Due to injury, he's moved back into that position and has really electrified this team in order for them to get victory after victory. First carry to Chauncey Jackson. He's able to get 2, possibly 3 yards. Let's take a look at that offensive line. Carpenter, Cornish, Donnelly, Williams, and Hicks. Backs and receivers, Chauncey Jackson, Rodney Burnett, Davis, Johnson, and Orenzo Smith at the wide receiver position.
Offside with contact. Defense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Our first penalty of the day, Rick Warren, our head referee. And that will move Fort Valley up a little bit closer. Now it'll be 2nd and short rather than 2nd and long. And movement. And Brown is trying to sell his case to say that it was something that Kentucky State drew the offensive lineman into motion.
Start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Julian Williams called for that infraction. But if you think about it, that's what a quarterback's supposed to do everything in his power to deflect the blame from his offensive line.
If you're an offensive lineman, you want to protect your quarterback. If you're a quarterback, you want to protect that offensive line.
So now all those yards go back, and now we're back at 2nd down and 7. Brown's going to keep it, has some room to run, and gets a few of those yards back, maybe 2 or 3, before he's brought down.
Vincent Edwards made the tackle. Play game.
Vincent Edwards playing that strong safety position, and you see the defensive line, Jones right there to lead the defensive line, Reynolds, Spencer, and Bisma, and Tony, Edwards, Malone, and Luckett in the secondary. Both teams will play undersized linebackers who can also play defensive backs. They like speed and tackling. Nice delayed handoff there, and a nice long run. Getting even longer is Chauncey Jackson, enough for a Wildcat first down, and they can move the chains.
Chauncey Jackson's only rushed for 235 yards this season. A little misdirection. The defense over pursued, and that's one thing you talk about. If you're going to beat speed, you have to change the field.
And they're going to stay with the hot hand give to Jackson again, and he may be able to get 1, possibly 2 yards. So far, the rushing attack for the Wildcats working.
And, well, I was saying they needed to be physical in this game because that was the one thing that they lacked in the first contest between these two.
Brown was a quarterback last season, moved to wide receiver for the majority of this year due to an injury at the quarterback position to DeMonte Jones, who's a freshman. They moved him back to quarterback, and he has propelled this team into the championship game by winning the Eastern Division. Option play, Brown eludes one tackler, and this time he cannot elude a second man. Brought down for a loss. Raymond Malone, check that, with the tackle.
And that play was ill-conceived as the Kentucky State defense closed quickly. They recognized that motion and knew that an option play was happening.
And he went first down that way. I'm not sure about that one. 3rd down and long. They need to get beyond midfield for a first. Opening drive for the Wildcats of Fort Valley State. Brown, he's going to keep it, and may have not been the best move. Brought down.
They said it was a fumble.
Now they're saying it's a fumble, and Thorobreads get the ball. Fumbles is what plagued Fort Valley last time they played the Thorobreads, and once again it hits him.
Brown steps up, decides to keep it, goes downfield, and that's what they coach you now in defense, to attack the football and rip it out. And that's what this Kentucky State Thoroughbreds defense did. So they give their offense now a short field.
Rodriguez Jones on the tackle and the fumble recovery for the Thoroughbreds, a short field for the young offense of Kentucky State. Jules St. G, the young man out of Lakeland, Florida, leading the way, freshman of the year in the SIAC. Nice throw and catch, enough for the first down and more. 10, 5, touchdown, Reginald Harris, touchdown, book it, score for the Thoroughbreds.
Like I said before, pass the gravy and let's eat. This Kentucky State Thoroughbreds team has come to play short field turnover. What do? First thing you want to do when you get a big play and a turnover, you go for a touchdown. Finds his man wide open in the secondary. It must have been a blown coverage. Touchdown for the Thoroughbreds.
And as you can see, Harris is looking for that ring, the senior, with the first score of the championship game. Point after attempt is up, and It is good. 9:17 left to play in the opening quarter. Jules St. G capitalizes off of the turnover of Fort Valley. He finds his favorite receiver, Reginald Harris, in the end zone for the score. You're watching SIAC football on Aspire. And you see the legendary John L. Smith. Last time some people may have seen him coaching as an interim head coach at the University of Arkansas. And as you can see, he is making sure that his team's uniforms are together. Reginald Harris, the recipient of a 40-yard touchdown pass from Jules St. G, which makes it now 7-0 in favor of the Thoroughbreds in search of their first ever SIAC Conference Championship victory. Fort Valley from their own 5. Has some room to run and able to get some big yardage.
Ryan Walker with the return for the 18.
Ryan Walker on the return, and he does a little bit of everything, offense, defense, special teams. He is one of those super cats for the Wildcats.
Averaging 24.3 yards a return. That's well within his wheelhouse. He almost broke that one for maybe 6. The only thing that I saw was, and you see this, he's got speed, and now you saw a little bit of the power as he just bowled over a couple of Kentucky State defenders.
All right, now it's time for Otis Brown to see if he can do his best to answer the score with another score as they trail 7-0. There was a fumble on the play that allowed Kentucky State to have a short field to get that 40-yard touchdown. Now on the option. Pitch and catch, nice run there by DeMarcus McClinton for Fort Valley. Check that, Jamari Clark on the carry. Jamari Clark on the carry.
The 49-yard line, play gain 10 yards. First down, Fort Valley State.
And Jamari Clark run for 378 yards coming into this game. He is the team's leading rusher.
Once again, give to Clark, and Jamari Clark able to get some positive yards. The rushing attack for Fort Valley has been something that has evolved. According to Coach Porter, he would like to see his team be a strong running team, but this is something that's really taken time to develop.
And it takes a little bit of time simply because of the fact that this is such a young team, and they're not seasoned. They're starting to develop and gel.
Give once again to Clark. He breaks the line of scrimmage, gets close to a first down, maybe about 2 yards short before he is brought down on the play.
And I think that Fort Valley has found something in that Kentucky State front that they're trying to exploit as they've run that same play twice in a row.
3rd and 2. And this time he goes nowhere fast. He is met by Rodriguez Jones, one of the defensive leaders for the Thoroughbreds, the junior, making the big play.
And Jones, the defensive end that they made the read off of, gave him a hard read. He closed down, and I think maybe Otis Brown made a bad read there, as he should have pulled that when Rodriguez stepped down.
And already we have Fort Valley going for it on 4th down. 4th and about 3.
And Fort Valley's 9 for 16 on 4th down.
And looks like they got close, but no
I don't think he got there.
Chauncey Jackson on the carry.
I don't think he got there, and the officials say he didn't.
They say he did not do it. The Thoroughbred, those green shirts, set up a green wall. And once again, Kentucky State defense steps up big. And it was the wall of green with the white helmets. The Thoroughbreds marching their way toward history right here in the first quarter on Aspire. And you see the head coach for Kentucky State, John L. Smith. First play, big play. Kentucky State Hook it. Hook it. Touchdown, Thorobreads. Lavelle Cloud floats like a cloud, stings like a bee. He's rumbling, stumbling for another big score.
And they just give it to the fullback. Once again, if you look at what they did, this is this Auburn inside run game that I talked about earlier. This is something that you've got to stop. You've got to take away that inside guy, and that offensive line dominated. Nobody touched him the entire run.
62-yard touchdown run from Lavelle Cloud. Point after attempt by Bill Rose is up, and it is good. And it seems as though out of nowhere, the team from Frankfort, Kentucky, up to a 14-0 lead with 6:41 left to play in the first quarter. And John L. Smith, he was even running, didn't even know what was going on. And his offensive said, Coach, don't run. We'll take care of the running for you.
But that play was indicative. That is good offensive line play. No one touched that back coming out of the backfield the entire way down the field. And that's a testament to good offensive line play. If you watch right here, the offensive line gets a surge. Nobody was on the original line of scrimmage. That offensive line got a push, and everyone was 5 yards down the field.
Lavelle Cloud, not known for scoring a lot of touchdowns, but he gets one today in the game that counts the most for the team out of Frankfort, Kentucky. Officially, they'll make that run a 58-yard run. And so far for Kentucky State, they have had a 40-yard run and now a 58-yard run. I think that rushing thoroughbred offense is going good. Bill Rose for the kickoff duties. Walker from his own 5. Walker with the room to run and brought down at about the 33-yard line. Seems as though everything is going in favor of the team that had to travel the furthest down south in order to play in Kentucky State.
You've got to give John L. Smith the credit first and foremost. He's been in big games. He's had to travel. He's participated in bowl games, so you have an atmosphere like this. So he knows how to prepare a team, and so far that experience is starting to show.
Now, once again, Otis Brown at quarterback, the senior from Fort Lauderdale, trying to lead his team down by 14. They may have to abandon that run game early in order to try to get back into this one. Option play, and goes nowhere fast. Good open field tackle by Raymond Malone, playing that free safety position, coming up strong.
And Malone, who has 55 tackles this season, add another one to it. That play was blown up as the cover guys, or the
Alfonso Martinez on the carry on the misdirection play. Now brings up 2nd down and 14. Kevin Porter trying to motivate his squad that is down by 14. They're young but hungry. Nice throw and catch, enough for the first down. Otis Brown showing that he does have the ability to throw the ball long. Reception made by Bodarius Johnson.
And right there, Johnson running a little bit of a skinny post, picking up his 10th reception of the season.
Wildcats.
And if the game plan was to run the football, they may have to abandon it as they're down early, 14-0 here in the opening quarter. Another throw intended for Johnson, incomplete. Good coverage by Ryan Luckett.
Luckett, playing in a bail technique, comes out
2nd and 10.
and picks up his 8th pass breakup of the 2016 season.
And you see Bodarius, he plays that exposition out of Reynolds, Georgia. He is a tall receiver. They do not have a lot of tall defensive backs for Kentucky State. That may be one of the reasons why they're trying to go to him early.
And that's a matchup because that defensive back on him Ryan Luckett is only 5'10".
And on the rush attempt, goes nowhere fast, does Chauncey Jackson, met by a host of green jerseys.
And once again, that defensive line of Kentucky State is starting to dominate that line of scrimmage. If you look, no one has moved the football.
4:50 and counting left in the opening quarter. We have seen a turnover that led to a pass play for a touchdown by Kentucky State, and then a long run of 58 yards for a score. And now it's Fort Valley trying to work their way out of a hole. Otis Brown finds Jackson. This time Jackson with a nice run, breaks one tackle, and he keeps on going. First down and more for Chauncey Jackson. They are in Kentucky State territory, and they can move the chains.
And Otis throws to his check down receiver, who's wide open, and makes a move and just decides to crank up the engine. And I've said this before, but he was standing on the track and the train was coming through.
Oh, but he lives to talk about it.
Yes.
1st and 10 now at the Kentucky State 34-yard line. Brown with some time throws long and incomplete, could not find his intended receiver, Christopher Weems.
Christopher Weems, backup Z receiver, only has 7 receptions this season, but he has 3 touchdown catches of those 7 receptions.
A young man out of Augusta, Georgia, one of the speedy receivers for Fort Valley. And they need some speed and power as they are trailing by 14. Brown with time, trying to find Weems, finds him, 1st and goal for Fort Valley.
And Otis Brown made a tremendous throw. He put it only where his receiver could get it. It was almost perfect coverage. You had play action. Brown looks, he's only looking one way, puts it over there right in the pylon, right in Weems' wheelhouse, makes the reception, goes out of bounds, 1st and goal. Big play for the Fort Valley State Wildcats.
Ball will be spotted at the 3-yard line. You see Weems getting a breather. Give to Jackson. Jackson is in. Touchdown, Fort Valley State Wildcats on the board.
2 yards, touchdown.
And this time, that offensive line comes through.
Chauncey Jackson with the 2-yard touchdown run. And it was Otis Brown, long pass to Christopher Weems. He put all of his arm into it, able to lead to the easy Chauncey Jackson score. We have point after attempt is up, and it is good. 3:17 left to play.
Yes, that was a touchdown. This is the extra point.
3:17 left to play in the first quarter. 14-7 is your score in favor of Kentucky State. What we thought could have been a blowout, but now Kentucky State has a team that has a little bit more fight in Fort Valley. We'll have more coming up right here on Aspire.
I let Emily borrow the Buick.
Day.
Wildcat cheerleaders have something to cheer about after a 2-yard touchdown run by Chauncey Jackson after a 35-yard pass from Otis Brown to Christopher Weems to set up the score. Now we have a 14-7 score with 3:17 left to play in the first quarter. Harris taking it and reverse on a reverse. Kentucky State pulling out all the stops and has more room to run, and he skirts the sideline, taken out of bounds at the 43. Great job by Kentucky State.
Unbelievable. That was a smart special teams play. Get it outside, get the team flowing one way, you go the other. And when we talked with Coach Smith earlier today. He was working with the special teams, and this might have been something he put in. And I talked about a special play, or you talk about the special sauce, so to speak.
Harris on the carry. Check that, Lavelle Cloud. We have had fireworks to start this game.
Devontae West to the tackle, play gain 5 yards, 2nd and 5.
The Thoroughbreds really have done a great job. They've come prepared so far.
Cloud. This time, Fort Valley able to key in and find him quickly. Kentron James on the tackle. Young man plays the backup Sam linebacker position.
3rd and 3 at the 48.
And what really made that play was the defensive end on that one. Ryan Bowman for Fort Valley came up the field. They read him and ran right up underneath him.
Jules St. G, the freshman quarterback, freshman of the year in the SIAC, now with the handoff to DeMontre Ward. Ward, the second leading rusher as far as running backs go, has 412 yards, 2 touchdowns.
And you talk about this young man. He is an outstanding student and a senior.
Already in grad school. War on the carry, getting some tough yards, 1, possibly 2 yards. Brings up 2nd down.
Samuel Good made the tackle.
So, Eric, if you're Kentucky State, do you divert from your game plan, or you think that everything is going according to plan?
You stick to that inside run game because you can develop so much. Now you've established the run. You can do play action. You can quarterback keeper. You can do a lot of things when you can run the football up the middle.
2nd down and long. Big play, big hit. Say hello to Brian Walker. And good sportsmanship there, picking up Reginald Harris. Harris shakes it off and says, I'm still ready to play.
And watch, Brian Harris comes from, seems like out of nowhere, in that buck position to make this play.
3rd and 7 at the 45.
35 seconds left to play in the opening quarter, 14-7. The Thoroughbreds out of Frankfort, Kentucky, trying to get their first ever SIAC championship trophy. St. Jules. Jules St. G, incomplete pass intended for his tight end, Jack Ramsey.
4th down.
And for the first time this evening, it'll be a punting situation for Kentucky State. Punter Turner Warren.
Turner Warren in punt formation.
Special teams is something that's special to the heart of Coach John L. Smith. See Walker back deep for Fort Valley. Trying to punt away from Walker, who is a dangerous return man. This one goes into the end zone for a touchback. And with 11 seconds left to play in the opening quarter, it is Kentucky State 14, Fort Valley 7. But Fort Valley now has an opportunity to make a statement for Kevin Porter before the end of the quarter. If it's his squad that you're talking to, Eric, do you just stay the course?
You still stay the course. It's just 14-7. You keep with your game plan. You say, we're still in this game. There's only 11 seconds to go in the first quarter. It's still anybody's ball game.
Coach Porter trying to stay even keel because he knows that his team was not expected to be here. Actually, Kevin did not get the job until right before fall camp began in August. There was a lot of speculation that he would, but he wasn't officially named, and he just met his players right when they reported for camp. 1st and 10 ball at the 20 for the Wildcats. And goes nowhere fast, strings out of play is Travis Richmond, one of those hybrid wide receiver running backs that they have in the arsenal for Fort Valley. So going back to Coach Porter, a lot of the players did not know. You look at Otis Brown, they asked him to move to play wide receiver to start the season. They had a freshman quarterback in DeMonte Jones. He plays wide receiver. Jones gets hurt. Coach goes back to him and says, hey, we need you back at quarterback. And by making that move, that propelled this team into a number of victories that led them to the SIAC Eastern Division Championship game and a championship trophy for the Eastern Division, and now trying to get the overall championship.
And there's an old cliche in football that they always talk about. There's no I in team. So you want to do whatever you can to help the team win a ball game.
All right, the player going to the side, Trevon Spencer for Kentucky State. He is their starting middle linebacker. This may be important, but we do get a time for them to think about it. We end the first quarter. 14-7 is your score, and you see Otis Brown trying to get a little bit more instruction from the referees, but they trail by 7. You're watching the SIAC Football Championship right here on Aspire. And welcome back to Aspire's television production of the SIAC Football Championship game. Fort Valley taking on Kentucky State University. Fort Valley in the blue helmets, white jerseys and pants, and Kentucky State with the white helmets, green jerseys, and white pants. And so far it's been Kentucky State's offense that has electrified the crowd with 2 huge plays that have given them a 14-7 lead over the Fort Valley State Wildcats. James Verrett along with Eric Tabor. And Eric, it is Otis Brown's job to try to get his team back into it, and they may have to go the quick way using the pass in order to do it.
Well, he's done a great job so far, even though he's only been 3 for 5, but each one of his passes have gone for 20-plus yards so far tonight.
3rd down and 8. He needs to get beyond the 30 for a first, and looks like the play clock ran out on him, which will push him back 5. And looks like they did get a timeout just in the nick of time.
Fort Valley State, first charge timeout.
And Rick Warren gives us the instruction that they did get the timeout in time. When we come back, we'll see if Fort Valley can convert on a 3rd and 8 right here on Aspire.
Break the mold. Go sensationally bold. New color sensational loaded bold.
Otis Brown for Fort Valley trying to get his team to a first down beyond the 30-yard line. Misdirection goes nowhere fast. Good defensive play by Kentucky State to stop that 3rd down attempt. Rodriguez Jones on the tackle for Kentucky State.
And that was a heady move by Jones, the defensive end. You're taught as a defensive end to stay disciplined and stay at home no matter what's going on the other side of the football. He saw the reverse coming. He stayed at home, and he was Johnny on the spot to make the tackle, bringing up a 4th down and a punting situation for the Fort Valley State Wildcats.
Cerner to punt, and back deep Reginald Harris for Kentucky State. And there are stoppages.
Play game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And that will push Fort Valley back a few more yards with 14:05 left to play in the first half. And if you're Fort Valley, you cannot afford to have self-inflicted wounds.
You always talk about the negative plays, and these are non-hustle fouls, I like to call them. Penalties where it's not a holding, it's a offsides, or it's a something you're not a mental lapse.
Cerner out of his own end zone. No pressure. And he does get the kickoff. Fair catch called by Harris, but it does take a Fort Valley State bounce, and it will roll here in the Cramton Bowl inside the 30 at about the 28-yard line.
Curtis punt rolls dead at the 29-yard line.
And for Kevin Porter, his special teams has to do an incredible job because they're going.
Number 22, 3-yard penalty, First down.
And they're called for a hold because you really can't hold the Gunners when they're trying to attempt to go after the football. And there was a hold against Kentucky State, which will push them back.
Good for 60 yards.
And I was watching that, and this is something that you coach on special teams. You want to try to eliminate those Gunners to set up the return. Kentucky State was trying to set up a return on this particular play, but the ball sailed over the head of the return man, and it forced some things to happen.
And you see the stats so far for Jules St. G, 3 of 5, 50 yards, and that 1 touchdown. This time they're going to give to Cloud, and seem as though the white shirts of Fort Valley have found out if he's going to be the hot hand, we're not going to let him get any more. And Karante Donaldson leading the way for the Wildcats to stop Cloud.
I think that was a little bit of a tough read. As you watch G, he held the ball just a little bit too long when he should have just went ahead and gave it to Cloud so he could make a move.
He even got knocked down there on the backside. He needs to know he's the quarterback. Don't get in the fray too much.
Well, he set the tone when the game started when he threw that block.
Give to Cloud. Cloud finds the hole this time. First down and more. Skirts the sideline before he is knocked out of bounds. First down, move the chains for the Thoroughbreds.
And Gee gives it to Cloud. Cloud just turns on the jets and outruns pretty much everybody on that Fort Valley State defense.
Touchdown save and tackle by Cameron Young for Fort Valley. Cloud. He's trying to get to 100 yards rushing, but this time say hello again to Brian Walker. Every time Brian Walker hits someone, they are stopped dead in their tracks.
That's what you call a thumper. Watch right here. He tries to make a move. Walker said none of that. And I think he might have thought it was a fumble. The ball came out.
Could have been. No call by the officials on that. Harris in at running back. They give to Reginald Harris, and he's able to get 1, possibly 2 yards. And it seems as though the Fort Valley defense is playing some inspired football here in the second quarter.
And what's got to happen with this Fort Valley defense is they've got to be a little more stout up front. They have got to win the battle of the line of scrimmage.
Kevin Porter trying to bring home their first title since 1999 to Fort Valley State. Third down. Jules St. G finding a hole, gets the first down and more, trying to outrun the defense and finds another hole into Fort Valley territory. First down for the young man out of Lakeland, Florida.
And G it was a design quarterback draw, and he just outruns the entire defense. But the thing that amazed me was right there, that block by number 11, Charles Johnson, that sprung him for the extra few yards. That just excites an offense, especially the linemen and especially the backs in the backfield. That's going to be on the highlight reel of Coach John L. Smith tomorrow.
Give, looks like to Reginald Harris, able to gain 1, possibly 2.
Jason Johnson included on the stop, playing 2 yards.
This offense led by a true freshman in Jules St. G. Not necessarily the most efficient in the conference, but efficient enough to get them where they needed to go. They give their defense rest, and when they need to score, they do. This time, War on the carry. What is it good for? Another first down.
War.
DeMartre War.
Play game, 15 yards.
And watch War. It was just a straight give, and the defensive end misses the tackle. He just explodes into the secondary, and that's what they teach you. Keep going north and south. Get as much yardage as you can.
First and 10, ball now at the 20. War trying to find a hole, and this time he goes nowhere fast. Gets to the line of scrimmage and may have lost a half a yard on that carry.
And what happened that really stopped this play was the Fort Valley State defense came on what you call a run blitz. Sam linebacker Jason Johnson came through and was right there to shut down anything on the outside.
.9:30 and counting in the first half. Two huge plays in the first half, in the first quarter, propelled Fort Valley to a 14-0 lead. And now it'll be a keeper by St. Jules. St. G is there, close to another first down. Jules St. G on the carry, the young quarterback, freshman of the year in the conference. Coach said he didn't know exactly what to expect from St. G, but what he has found is a diamond in the rough that keeps on shining bright.
276 yards this season rushing the football tells you something about this individual.
War on the inside give, and he gets to about the 11-yard line to bring up a fourth down situation, 4th and 1. Key here for Fort Valley to get a stop, but if you're John L. Smith in Kentucky State, you want to try to get this conversion to keep the drive alive.
And they're 9 for 24 on 4th down conversions, 38%, but they're going to go here.
War will still be in at running back. Trying to run the option on the keeper. Jules St. G gets the first down. It'll be 1st and goal for the Thoroughbreds.
And that play is indicative of what's happened so far in this contest. Kentucky State, excellent job at the point of attack for that offensive line. They're pushing this Fort Valley State defensive line around and creating these holes and these creases, generating positive yards.
War. And he gets to the line of scrimmage, maybe 1 or 2 yards. Demontre War, the graduate student, transfer from Western Kentucky.
Good for a yard.
And I love seeing running backs that are still grinding their feet. And we see Coach Porter, former Auburn great, former NFL player, native son returning home to the Macon area for the Fort Valley State Wildcats.
2nd and goal, ball at the 5. Give once again to War. He bounces it to the outside. Touchdown, Demontre War. Thoroughbreds on the board again.
And Demontre War picks up his 3rd touchdown of the season.
And a 5-yard touchdown scamper by Demontre War. He was the featured running back on this drive. Not bad, the graduate senior transfer from Western Kentucky, trying to finish his college career with a championship ring. Bill Rose for the point after attempt. And with 6:51 left to play in the half, Kentucky State once again extends their lead to 14 using a strong rushing attack. Regardless who's in the backfield, they find the holes, and the team from Frankfort now is holding on to a 14-point lead right here on Aspire.
You do all this.
Not a break on 3.
And 21-7 is your score in favor of Kentucky State. And we're ready for our kickoff. John L. Smith trying to bring home the first ever conference championship in the SIAC in football to Kentucky State. Walker will take it at his own 10. Walker with some room to run, skirting the sidelines, cutting back, has some more room. Brian Walker out to the 40, has one man to beat. He beats him 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Fort Valley.
Outstanding return, 90 yards for Brian Walker. But that play was really, really set up by number 34 for Fort Valley. He missed him on the camera, but he delivered a crunch of a block. That's going to make a highlight, somebody's highlight reel tomorrow. And Brian Walker says, hello, I've taken it to the promised land. We're back into this game. Let's go Wildcats.
Holiday season is upon us, but we have fireworks tonight in advance of the holiday season. Brian Walker getting Fort Valley State back into this ball game as they trail now by 7, but we do have some action on the field. Our officials are trying to figure out exactly what's going on. There was a flag on the play.
Offside, defense, number 53. That penalty is declined. The try is good.
Point after attempt is successful. Brian Walker's touchdown of 90 yards, one of the longest in SIAC Football Championship history, and he is keeping his team in it. 21-14 is your score. Keep watching right here on Aspire. And you see the man that has kept Fort Valley in the game, Brian Walker. 21-14 is your score. Stay tuned for 2 new episodes of Aspire's original series, The Graduates NYC. This would be the series finale, and one more episode. You can watch The Graduates NYC at halftime of this game and also on Aspire.tv. And Fort Valley with the kickoff. Harris taking it at his own 11. Can he answer? This time he goes nowhere fast. Engulfed at the 25-yard line by Fort Valley.
And that was good special teams by the Wildcats. Everybody stayed in their lane. They closed down.
First down, Thorobreads.
And now the ball is set up on the 26-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Thorobreads.
So now if you're Jules St. G, the newly crowned freshman of the year in the SIAC, how do you answer after your special teams, which is rare for a John L. Smith team, actually gave up a score?
You just stick with the game plan. You just follow the game plan. There's nothing spectacular about it. What you've been doing is working, so keep it up.
This time inside give, and that attacking Fort Valley defense starting to come alive. Ryan Bowman on the tackle, loses his helmet, has to leave for one play.
Unfailed game. 2nd and 10.
Second and 10. Jules St. G. And another big hit. Breon Isaac on the play. And Jules St. G, he's supposed to learn how to slide. He did not. He went head first. That leaves you open for a hit by Breon St. G. By Breon Isaac.
And he is still down.
And, Jules St. G is in pain. Now they do have a backup quarterback in Court Grotehouse, who has only had 10 attempts so far, but right now it looked like St. G tried to get up, and then when he did, that's when he felt the pain of his injury.
And I think that looks like it's in the area of a groin.
And from that angle, we can't tell exactly what happened, but he is still down. That was a good legal football play because St. G did not slide. He tried to go head first. And when you do that, they're going to treat you like a running back if you're a quarterback.
And as a defensive back or a linebacker or even a defensive lineman, that's your fantasy, to catch a quarterback in stride and just deliver a forearm and a shoulder blow. And good news, good sign there for Jules St. G.
Tonight, you see his rushing yards, 3 for 33. They need him. He is the reigning freshman of the year in the SIAC, the young man out of Lakeland, Florida. He'll have to leave for at least one play. Court Grotehouse will be in at quarterback now, number 14. And Grotehouse has come in and played, the young man out of California. He most likely didn't expect to play, but obviously John L. Smith has him prepared to go. On 3rd and short. Getting some pressure, trying to find a receiver, and does. 1st and more. Great play to Charles Johnson, enough to move the chains and get them close to midfield.
Charles Johnson
And Michael Digman, the offensive coordinator, didn't hold back the reins. He wanted to see what this young man could do. He rolls out, rolls off his back foot, but finds an open receiver, 1st and 10 for the Thoroughbreds.
And Court did a great job, and St. G is back in, 1st and 10 for the Thoroughbreds. Cloud is floating, getting other positive yards. He is approaching 100 yards rushing. Wasn't even listed as a starter for this evening's game, but obviously Coach Smith saw something in him, put him in the game, and his speed has been able to really be the X factor for the Thoroughbreds this evening.
And once again, I cannot say enough about this Kentucky State offensive line. I have been thoroughly impressed that they have contained the Fort Valley State front 7 tonight.
.4:15 and counting here in the first half. Cloud, cutback, nice move, 1st and more. Great job by the running back. You saw the cutback, a late flag at about the 33-yard line, but Lavelle Cloud is showing that he should be one of the premier running backs in the conference, because that was a great cutback run.
And he's making everything seem so easy. But it comes back to that offensive line getting a hat on a hat, moving defenders out of the way, and getting that push or that surge.
After the play, personal foul, offense, number 73. 15-yard penalty, still results in a 1st down.
Michael Moaga. And for Moaga, this is nothing new. He did this against Fort Valley the last time they played at an unsportsman, and you see Cloud right there. And for Moaga, yeah, he just kept going. He kept going through the whistle, and he just slammed the guy to the ground, and that's why he gets the flag.
And Moaga says, I didn't hear a whistle.
And right now we do have Jordan Watson down for Kentucky State. They're attending to him right now. Looks like it could be possibly cramps, but we're not sure.
Yes, definitely. When you're bending that toe back, that definitely is cramps.
Now for Kentucky State, this is more springtime weather, not true fall weather there in the Bluegrass State.
Well, cramps can happen anytime, especially when you're expelling energy and you're not replenishing, getting those fluids and electrolytes back in your body.
And they are elevated levels of excitement here, because these players, as Coach John L. Smith told us earlier today, he wants them to leave it all out on the field. Reckless abandonment. And right now, it's good to see that young man Watson back up and walking. I know it's most likely difficult with all those braces on, just to try to keep yourself hydrated.
And he's going to probably get some fluids in him and maybe an IV at halftime, and you'll see this young man back shortly.
6'4", 340-pound sophomore.
And he's still got some room to grow.
Room?
Yes.
Room?
Yes.
Room? Grow? You want him to grow some more?
Yeah, they don't grow up. You know, they always grow them big in Kentucky.
Tall. They grow them tall. They do grow them tall in Kentucky. All right, 1st and 10. Reverse, looking for a pass. St. G, will they call it a reception? Yes, they do. 1st down, Jules St. G with the reception off of the Dipsy-Do reverse trick play.
And that's one of the things you love to see, the trick plays And I said somebody was going to execute one early, and had there been a little bit more in there, it might have gone for a touchdown.
Demetrius Anderson with the pass, playing the wide receiver position, really caught Fort Valley off guard. Now, pass play again, and this time pass intended for Jonathan Powell, but that one incomplete.
Pass incomplete.
And good coverage by the Fort Valley State defense.
2nd and 10.
And that was Keontae Donaldson on the coverage. He's got 1 interception this season. Great job in blanketing that receiver.
Running the option. Give to Harris. These running backs may not be big, but they are fast and effective. Reginald Harris gets a first down to move the chains again.
And that was all Guy. As you saw right there, the back, he was expecting an inside run. The back ran wide, so he saw it. He just pitched it out there to him. Great headsy move by Guy.
The senior out of Miami, number of players from Florida making that long trek up to Frankfort, Kentucky. G, and incomplete pass intended for Powell, but that bullet did not hit its mark.
He rolled out, and I think what they're trying to do is set up those run-pass options and give him the option in space to either keep it or find an open receiver. And this time he tried to force it in there when I think he could have just kept that one and got some positive yards.
A lot of the Kentucky State faithful are watching. We'd like to thank them for joining us right here on Aspire, because they are trying to see history in the making. For those in the state of Kentucky who are watching, they're trying to say, oh, Kentucky State does play football. Yes, they play it at a high level at 2nd down and 10. St. G, ball is tipped, interception! Fort Valley with the interception, big play. Ryan Bowman with the interception.
And that play was caused by a tipped ball. And that was one of the things about Guy coming into this game that you had to question. He tends to throw the ball low, and this time you had a defender in his face and couldn't get it over him. A nice interception, and Johnny on the spot, thank goodness it didn't go for a touchdown. So it's 1st and 10 for the Fort Valley State Wildcats.
And that young man, a senior out of Fort Valley, he would like nothing better but to bring home that championship trophy to his hometown. Now, it'll be Otis Brown opportunity to try to get this offense going as they trail 21-14. Inside give to Jackson. Jackson able to get some positive yards, maybe 3 yards short of the first down. Chauncey Jackson, the junior, stepping up big before he was pushed out of bounds. Both teams want to run the ball. Both teams have really quarterbacks that really haven't cemented their spot, and it's up to those running backs to really carry the team right now.
Well, these teams are built around their offensive line. They are built around trying to run the football. So that's true to their characters. That's what they're going to do here.
Otis Brown with the carry. Enough for the first down, enough to move the chains.
Correction, Brown, the ball carrier. Jones made the tackle. First down, Fort Valley at the 33.
Fort Valley is going to have to get a little bit of a sense of urgency. We're under 2 minutes before the half.
Jackson breaks the line of scrimmage, may have gotten 1 yard. When they go with the spread, moving someone in motion, it seems as though everything else is going on, but they still want to do a simple run play.
And they're trying to do some misdirections and trying to get the defense flowing in one direction or the other, and then hit them backside and come underneath and pop a big play.
Brown tries to throw a bullet. Interception by Kentucky State off the tip.
Brown pass intercepted.
Great play by the Thoroughbreds.
C.J. Toney with the interception.
C.J. Toney with the interception.
Thoroughbreds at the 41.
And watch, the ball was tipped, but C.J. Toney, trailing the play, picks up his 4th interception of the 2016 season.
Brown really wants that one back. He got it to the right receiver, just couldn't pull it in. And when that ball was up in the air, it was Kentucky State able to bring it in. 1 minute, 4 seconds. John L. Smith is a little bit over 2 quarters away from making history here at the SIAC championship game. St. G eludes 2 defenders, 3, 4. He has some room to run 5, but this time he is brought down. Good tackle made in the open field by Breon Isaac, able to come up from that cornerback position in order to make the tackle. 2nd down and long, 42 seconds and counting left to play in the half. Timeout is called by Kentucky State. Trying to calm down the quarterback and get the right play in, and make sure that you stay tuned for 2 new episodes of Aspire's original series, The Graduates NYC. Group comes together to discuss a community service project. You'll get to see the second to last and final episode of the season of The Graduates NYC. You can also see it on Aspire.tv. One of the many offerings on Aspire, one of the up-and-coming networks on your cable dial.
And I enjoy watching those episodes. I end up going home and watching them on Aspire TV and on the web page, on the website. And one of the things a lot of people don't know, it was actually executive produced by Al Roker.
That's one of your favorites too, because he's a foodie like you.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Less than a minute to play. Jules St. G. Pitch, catch, incomplete.
St. G's pass is incomplete.
And that was, again, one of those run-pass options.
3rd and 13.
And Guy is saying it was kind of his fault, but he could have turned that up and got some positive yards and possibly got out of bounds.
.34 seconds left to play in the half. Jules St. G, the freshman of the year in the conference, has entertained this crowd. Many have come from Frankfort, Kentucky to root their team on. Cloud. And Cloud is met immediately by Aaron Henderson Singfield. 3 names, but 1 big hit.
And I think Fort Valley is going to take a timeout here with 4th down, and they're going to try to play this chess match because they want to get the football back.
And Coach Porter, who has been a head coach in arena ball at several locales, an assistant on the Division I level, coming home to Fort Valley State and taking his team now. They trail within 7 of Kentucky State. 21-14 is your score. And what he is trying to do is either make sure that Kentucky State doesn't add on to the lead or get the ball back so he can possibly tie this game before half.
And in this situation, it's 4th down. If I were in this situation defensively or on special teams, I would be coming after this kick. And it looks like they've got 10 men lined up on the line of scrimmage.
Well, you also have to remember Brian Walker has already had a 90-yard kickoff return for a score. And they kick away from Walker. It will go out of bounds. Ball will be spotted at the 15-yard line with 15 seconds left. And that's where Otis Brown and the Wildcats will take over. And do you think they just play it safe here, Neil, and let's go in the locker room?
You take a knee right here because you've got a halftime to discuss. You've got some things you can talk with your players and build on and make some tweaks and get back out here in the second half.
Brown coming to really save the day. The young man asked by Coach Porter to move from the quarterback positions to wide receiver to start the season due to injury. He came in and had to regain the starting spot and has led his team to the championship game. Now can he lead them out of the hole, trailing by 7? Brown. And incomplete. Looks like the receiver basically took his eyes off of the football, and that was Lorenzo Smith, who obviously was looking for open field rather than securing the pigskin.
And I think they might have tried to set up a little razzle-dazzle there, and maybe one of those throwback completions, you pitch it back and try to make a big play out of it.
And this time he will kneel it. And as the clock winds down, we will go into the locker room with the Thoroughbreds 1/2 away from walking away with their first ever football championship in the school's history in the SIAC. John L. Smith is working his magic again, but Fort Valley has 1/2 to try to spoil the green and gold's party here in Montgomery. Halftime coming up right here on Aspire.
Great booties are the rage, but squats and lunges are hard. Introducing Booty Max, the breakthrough booty shaper for that show-off body. It's the easy, fun, and fast way to tone, lift, and transform your booty from flat to fabulous and saggy to sensational. Simply attach the ankle cuff, grab the handle, and kick. The secret is Booty Max's Smart Dial muscle targeting, which allows you to dial in the MDR, or multi-directional resistance, for perfect form that gets targeted results.
After using Booty Max, I went down 2 pant sizes and I lost a total of 15 inches.
Thermographic imaging proves Booty Max maximizes muscle activity. Wrap band around Smart Dial for even more resistance. Get twice the results in half the time.
I highly recommend Booty Max. You can really feel the unique MDR targeting the muscles, taking your booty to the max.
Just follow the 7 simple workouts for a spectacular booty. Detach the handle for the ultimate upper body workout. Tone arms and sculpt shoulders. Even target your abs.
I had a baby 7 months ago, and since I started using the Booty Max, I've been able to fit in my jeans again, my dresses again.
Compact. It all snaps into the base. Replaces all these expensive machines. Order Booty Max now. Just 2 payments of $19.95. And get the Booty Max workout DVD free. This handy exercise booklet, plus Booty Max's Better Eating Nutritional Guide, 30-day money-back guarantee. Ask about today's special low price for the one-size-fits-all Booty Max fitness pants and this armband to keep your phone close and secure. Get it all for 2 easy payments of $19.95. Order now.
Welcome back to Aspire's presentation of the SIAC Football Championship game. 21-14 is your score in favor of the Thoroughbreds of Kentucky State. Now, for our season finale of the Graduates NYC, the group unites to give back to the community and hold a voter registration drive in Harlem. Can they pull it off successfully and work together? Here's the season finale of the Graduates NYC. Welcome back to the SIAC Football Championship game. 21-14 is your score. Halftime, teams are on the field warming up. When we come back, we'll start the third quarter of play. You're watching SIAC Football on Aspire. We'll be back after this commercial break. Welcome back to Aspire's presentation of the SIAC Football Championship game. 21-14 is your score in favor of the Thoroughbreds. Now I'm joined by the 2 admirals of the ship, as we will call it, Dr. Aaron Thompson of Kentucky State and Dr. Paul Jones of Fort Valley State. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you.
All right, so we have to let the leader go first.
Absolutely.
Leader on the scoreboard. And Dr. Thompson, first of all, when you hired John L. Smith, did you ever think that a championship game was in the sights this early?
Not this early, but I did think there would be one in sights maybe next year, but I have to tell you, I'm happiest this year, very much so.
What was in the secret? What was the secret sauce to convince him from coming from Colorado back to the state of Kentucky?
Well, I mean, Kentucky's a beautiful state, and John L. has had a lot of success in Kentucky, and I think he wanted to continue that success. But I think the other thing he saw was a vibrant university that was really willing and ready to actually go to the next level. So John L. wanted to be a part of that, and we wanted him a part of that.
How has this recent uptick in football helped the university as far as the morale on campus and also trying to get the word out about the university within the state of Kentucky?
Well, tremendously. First of all, the morale is growing every day, and in addition to football, there's a lot of other good things going on our campus. We have some of the best programs in the nation. But I have to tell you that sports, just like good academics, it brings together people. And the excitement that we're experiencing in the state and on campus is very much due to the fact that our team is doing well and our overall campus is doing well.
All right, Dr. Paul Jones over at Fort Valley. It seems as though you've been the magic man. Some people said that Coach Porter came on a little late, but better late than never. You're here in the championship game. How does it feel to have your institution at center stage?
Well, it's a great feeling. We're so pleased that Coach Porter has been able to come in and rally these students around him. We're excited for him, we're excited for the students, and it's a great time to be at Fort Valley State University.
How has the morale had taken an uptick since, hey, we made it? Not only did we win our rivalry games, but we get the reward of making it to the championship game.
Well, there's great excitement around the campus, the community, our alumni base. We're all pleased. I think athletics is a front door to most of our campuses, and so when you have this kind of success, it really bodes well for the university.
All right, gentlemen, stay right here. We're getting ready for our kickoff, and we're going to get our kickoff right underway. And once we get our kickoff, we'll get back and talk about the academics at both Kentucky State and Fort Valley State. Ball's taken at the 22 and upended quickly by the Kentucky State defender, and that's where Fort Valley State Wildcats will take over at the 23 as they trail 21-14. Now, for both of you gentlemen, when we're thinking about college athletics, HBCUs, some people would say that under the former administration, now outgoing administration, little may have been done to further enhance, even though we do know there were a lot of back channels going on between President Obama and HBCUs. But going forward, you do have a new president coming in. What is your goal and your wish when you do have the new president that will take office coming in next year?
Well, first of all, we want to point out to all those that are in power that HBCUs serves a purpose unlike almost any other higher ed institution in the nation. And with that in mind, we're going to produce the kind of teachers, the kind of professionals and experts that's going to be able to add to the great diversity in our nation. So we're going to talk hard about the need for them to actually increase the support for our kind of institutions that we have.
And for Fort Valley, you have a huge agricultural standpoint as far as educating people about agriculture and agribusiness. How do you think the next administration needs to look at Fort Valley State?
Well, you're absolutely right that we believe that now is the time for our country to invest in our HBCUs. We are more relevant today than we ever have been, and I think it's certainly been evident as we've seen the rise in our new students coming to our campuses. They're excited about being part of our university. But we've done an extraordinary job of taking students where they are and moving them where they deserve to be. And so I think it's an exciting time, and we're going to continue to tell our story about the great things that are happening. It's transformational, the kinds of things that happen with our students, and they go on and do great things in our country and across the world. And now is the time to support our sector of higher education more than any other time in our history, I believe.
For both of you gentlemen, both institutions, you focus in on students that may be the first graduates in their family.
Absolutely.
Both of universities are in states that may be overshadowed by larger universities. I know for the state of Georgia, University of Georgia, for the state of Kentucky, you have University of Kentucky, other institutions. But how important is it to continue to focus on those first graduates, college graduates of a family, and get them not only acclimated to college life, but get them through out into the workforce as college graduates?
When we think about those items that pull away, people talk about our tax dollars, such as people that are on Medicaid or people that are in prisons or people that are underemployed. What we know is changing the generational status of people in society, and that's what we stand for, increases a longevity of success for our entire society. And as President just said earlier, we are 9.5% up in enrollment this fall. People are getting that, and they understand that that education and that opportunity that they can get not only for themselves, but for their generations after them, in fact, is so invaluable that we have to be the main emissaries out there talking about that.
We have a rich history, both of us, over 100 plus years, 120 years for us, of serving the very students you were talking about. And many institutions across the country are trying to figure out how to serve this population. And yet we've been doing it for a long time. And I think it's an exciting time for us as we begin to change the narrative for our institutions and move our universities forward. So we're not looking behind us. We're certainly looking forward.
All right, gentlemen, your thoughts going toward, we're here in the third quarter, second down and 20 for Fort Valley State. Your last opportunity to tell your fans what has this whole season meant for not only yourselves personally, but for the alumni. And we had a big hit there by Kentucky State to continue to push Fort Valley back, and it looks like the Thoroughbreds are fired up. You first, Dr. Thompson.
Well, we are fired up. First of all, I want to do a shout out to our band. Did you see that band?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. And I want to do a shout out to our faculty, staff, alumni, all of those folks and fans that came out to this game in Montgomery. What it means to us is, in fact, this idea that we are starting a momentum. And athletics is good education if we do it correctly. And this gives us a good foundation to continue producing what we have been known to produce, and that's good students and good student athletes.
Well, we're certainly hoping that we can turn this around as we move forward. But this, I think President's right. This is a great time for our universities. We're excited about our fans who were able to make it here today. And we want to seize this moment. Again, as I said earlier, we're looking forward. And we're excited about our future. We're excited about what we're going to do over the next coming several years as we move forward. Thank you so much for having us today.
All right, Dr. Jones, Dr. Thompson, don't duke it out outside. Just wait let's wait till afterwards, and we can shake hands and be happy campers here. But
we're good friends, so we'll deal with it just like that.
That's
we'll
right.
have fun before and afterwards.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Dr. Paul Thompson, Dr. Paul Jones, and Dr. Aaron Thompson, both with Fort Valley State and Kentucky State. 21-14 is your score, and we'll be back with more action right after this. Third quarter still 21-14 is your score in favor of Kentucky State. We are joined now by Keon Davis, the owner-operator of Smooth and Groove Smoothies here in the Alabama area, right in Auburn, Alabama. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Now, first of all, you are a Tuskegee graduate.
Yes, sir.
So I heard that you did cry in your smoothie because they're not here right now.
Man, that was a big deal, man. I was looking forward to being here with those guys, and I know how important this game is for them, and, being in that championship and just get another piece of jewelry, you know what I mean? Adding to the collection, that means a lot to us.
Well, let's talk about Smooth and Groove. You're an all-natural smoothie company, and you're based here in the state of Alabama, and you did provide some free smoothies to our student athletes and staff. Tell me about this whole process of going from a student athlete at Tuskegee to becoming a business owner.
Yeah, it was, being a student athlete and playing ball and, just the things that you go through and camp and all that stuff, it kind of gives you an opportunity to go through a struggle. So in business, it was an easy transition, to go from going from an athlete on the field to going to struggles on the business, on the business end at the business table. So it's kind of the same thing, and it gave me a confidence that I could, do some things that I never thought I could, just like going from a freshman to a senior, on the field, kind of the same type of process. So it was kind of fun.
So you take the smoothie idea from your father-in-law.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and now you get married to his daughter.
So we've been married for a year now.
And then you take his idea.
Yeah.
You go to Auburn. How daunting was it to say, okay, I'm a guy from Tuskegee, I'm about to go to big Auburn and start this smoothie company?
Well, that was an easy transition, because I know a lot about Auburn. Tuskegee and Auburn's 8 miles, exit to exit. So, I know a lot about the area. So it was an easy transition also as well, being that I've been in the town and been in the city. I know what the guys want. being an athlete, I can attach with the players over there. And, you know, being that my father-in-law had the company, you know, it was very ironic, you know, that when I decided to do that I talked to him, and, I mean, he gave me all the information that I wanted to know, you know. And so, I mean, he was very open and honest about it, and he was glad that I actually reached out to him, you know, to kind of continue what he had started.
Now, when you look at your company, it's all natural. What are the variety of smoothies that you have?
Well, we have all of our smoothies are named after dances. You know, so we have everything from the nay-nay to the electric slide, the Tootsie Roll. We have the Juju and the Ooh Kill 'em.
Ooh Kill 'em.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, do you have to dance every time you make one of those smoothies?
Every time I make a smoothie, the customer has to dance.
Oh, the customer. You don't have to.
No. The customer.
All right. Well, thank you so very much for your time, and good luck to you.
I appreciate it.
I remember smoothies way back when.
Oh, yeah.
In Baton Rouge.
Oh, yeah. Yes. It's a new twist now.
All right. Well, thank you. Smooth and Groove. Make sure if you're in the Auburn area that you go and visit Smooth and Groove in Auburn, Alabama. We are 9 minutes left in the third quarter. 21-14 is your score. SIAC Football Championship game right here on the spot. All right, thank you so very much. Man, oh man. So you are on Auburn's campus. Come on. Oh, yeah. Okay, you got a card? Man, I hadn't seen Mr. Eugene in a while. Oh, they want to get a picture. Boy. Man, unbelievable. So you've been married for a year? Lord, have mercy. How many months is she? 1, okay. Boy. When I see, I hadn't seen Mr. Eugene in 5-6 years. Yeah, because I'm in North Carolina now. Yeah, but we definitely need to get in touch because my wife works at North Carolina A&T, and they're building a new unit. They're building a brand new unit.
Whichever way, because actually, if you step out here,
Okay.
That was my truck. We was out here earlier today, so I got 2 of those trucks. One of them's on campus at Auburn every day.
Oh, okay, good.
Like I said, we got the Walmart deal. I got 150 stores we don't do at Walmart.
Oh, they signed you up for 100?
Oh, man. We got to have to talk. You got a card?
So I just, like I said, I transitioned from on the field to doing what I do now. So.
Now you got to ask Mr. Eugene about that recipe for the muffin tops.
Oh, I did. I got them.
You got the muffins? Yeah. Oh, unbelievable. 9 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Otis Brown on the keeper, and he's able to gain possibly 3 yards on the play. 8:52 and counting as they trail by 7.
So.
Smoothies. We've done a little bit of everything.
Yes. And I'm looking forward to sampling some of those smoothies real soon.
The world is small. The world is very small. I remember when his father-in-law had that smoothie. And as you can see, the smooth moves of Otis Brown, and big hit, but enough for the first down. And we're playing football, folks.
And don't you love it when a plan comes together? And that was Jamari Clark on the reception.
.753 and counting. Long pass, incomplete. Intended for Arenzo Smith. He's been trying to get Arenzo Smith acclimated into this game, but so far the freshman has not been able to connect.
And you've got to give credit where credit is due. the defense for Kentucky State is playing very disciplined, very sound, solid defense, especially in the secondary. They aren't giving a lot of good passing windows to complete passes. They're real tight windows. If he's going to find somebody, he's going to have to thread the needle.
Brown on the keeper, has some room to run, uses his speed, gets inside the 20 down to about the 14-yard line, 16-yard line, enough for another Wildcat first down, and it seems as though that spread is allowing him to find the running lanes in order to get the first.
And Brown, nowhere to go with the football. He rolls, he looks, he still nowhere to go with the football, so all he can do is tuck and run, take what the defense gives him, and since most of the defense was in man coverage, he got big yardage on the play.
Wildcats are marching. Touchdown! Fort Valley. Bolden Davis on the touchdown reception.
And that play was set up. I just sung the praises of the Kentucky State defense, and it looked like it was a blown coverage or busted coverage as the tight end slipped free right down the middle of the field. He showed a pump fake, and that froze the linebacker. And Vincent Edwards was outside of the play, couldn't come up with it.
7:05 remaining in the third quarter.
And when we come back, we have a tie ball game. 7:05 left to play in the third quarter, and Fort Valley has fought their way back down as many as 14 to bring us back to 21 all right here on Aspire.
I let Emily borrow the Buick, and with this app, I know right where she is.
Nice. Isn't that where we used to?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Should we call your dad?
No.
Locate your vehicle, lock or unlock the doors, even check diagnostics. The My Buick app, now available.
Otis Brown and company all tied up at 21. Make sure you join Aspire on social media. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at TV Aspire. And now we'll see if the offensive fireworks that Kentucky State had in the first half can continue on in a long run. Great return by Fort Valley State. Reginald Harris on the kick return, but there is a flag at the 45-yard line.
And right there, you would think it's either a personal foul.
Personal foul. Return team, number 2. 15-yard penalty. First down.
We do have a player who is down. Looks like he's holding his hamstring for Fort Valley State.
Looks like that was Emmanuel Ryan, number 43.
Young man out of Baxley, Georgia, Appling County.
And you really hate to see when a guy goes down, but it looks like he is going to be all right.
And his teammates will help him off the field. It's a good sign that he is able to get some help, but he is up and moving. And you see even Coach Porter out there. And for Coach Porter, this is somewhat of a surreal situation because he said that he did not necessarily know the players when he arrived in late July, early August on campus, but he said, I knew a lot of their mothers, their fathers, their uncles, their aunts, and some grandparents because he grew up in that area. He played high school at Warner Robins, was part of a national championship team.
Harris, the ball carrier. Good. Made the tackle. 1 yard on the play. Second and 9.
Second down and 9. Keeper, St. G. Jules St. G. He's only had to leave the playing field for one play when he looked like he had a slight injury. Port Groothouse came in and had a pass completion, but other than that, it's been Jules St. G the whole way as we're tied up at 21. Keeping it, and he's able to get back to the line of scrimmage, possibly gain 1 yard. Will bring up a 4th and short.
And this play, the Fort Valley State defense, the defensive line actually slanted to the near side of the field, or the short side of the field, which is a lot of teams won't do. They did it this time, and they were right there because of that slant. They were right there to make the play and shut it down.
And it will take a Kentucky State bounce and dead at the 19-yard line. That's where Fort Valley will take over, all tied up at 21 apiece right here. The SIAC Football Championship on Aspire. All tied up at 21, 4:49 left to play in the third, and it has been all Fort Valley State so far here in the third quarter. Long throw by Brown and incomplete. Overthrew all parties involved.
And once again, good coverage by the Kentucky State Thoroughbred secondary. Nowhere to go with the football. You had a safety right over the top. So even if he did thread that window, it was going to be a tight window to make that completion.
Second down. Inside handoff. Jackson. The long sustained drives help Fort Valley. Looks like they are built for these longer drives. Kentucky State is known for teams that like to make big plays, force turnovers. Going quickly, back to Jackson. Jackson able to gain 1, possibly 2.
And good hard running, taking what the defense gives them, picking up a yard, but it's going to bring up a 4th down and short. And it looks like Fort Valley is going to go for it.
And they look like they're going to err on the side of caution and bring out their punter on 4th and 1. Harris back deep for Kentucky State.
And you've got a mismatch on the end. You've got 2 receivers and 1 defender. It should be an automatic.
And looked like they were trying to go for the block, but Cerna able to get it off, and Harris will fair catch it at the 37-yard line, make it the 38. And with 3:26 left to play in the third quarter, we're all tied up at 21. Fireworks to start, 14-0 in favor of Kentucky State, but Fort Valley came storming back, able to cut the lead. Kentucky State with a late score, and then now it's Fort Valley tying it up at 21. St. G. And looks like it was miscommunication intended for Harris, but Harris kept running and the ball was thrown at a spot where he had left about 5 or 6 steps ago.
And there might be a little bit of miscommunication. But when receivers and quarterbacks run those option routes, you really don't know who to blame, because the receiver might see one thing and the defensive back cutting inside, and the quarterback might think another thing, and he puts the ball where the defender is not supposed to be.
St. G finds a receiver and able to get some positive yards before he is brought down. Johnson on the reception. Charles, the sophomore, with a nice pitch and catch to bring up a 3rd and short.
And Breon Isaac took the brunt of that blow, and he is still on the carpet.
Looks like he's trying to get those cobwebs out. And for Jules St. G, freshman of the year in the SIAC, they really didn't know what type of quarterback that they had until they played Fort Valley State with a 26-10 victory. And at that point, Coach John L. Smith stated that they knew that they had a budding leader. All they had to do was curtail the offense to where he could better understand it, better operate through it. And since they've done that, they were able to rattle off 3 straight victories. They did struggle near the end of the regular season by dropping 2, but those 3 victories were the victories that they needed in order to win the SIAC Western Division. This year, and supposedly this year only, the division-only record was the record that counted toward being sent to the championship game. And for Kentucky State and Fort Valley, they had the best divisional record and won the head-to-head. You see Jules St. Jean's numbers this evening: 4 of 12, 58 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception.
And I don't know if you can fault him for that interception. That was a tipped ball on that interception.
31.
Spin, great spin move. Jules St. G showing that he has the Merlin magician in him with the nice play.
That was great moxie by Jules St. G. He shows and he follows his back out the hole, makes a spin move, and then whoopsie-doo, it's off to the races, runs out of bounds, picks up positive yards. He shows he is the leader of that offense.
Not a bad move. I mean, that was sort of like magic. It's like, you can touch me, but you can't bring me down.
Well, that other phrase, you cannot stop me, you can only hope to contain me.
And they couldn't contain him on that one. St. G, throwback to his tight end. He finds his tight end, but a flag is thrown. Jack Ramsey on the reception. Check that, Jake Ramsey on the reception. And maybe an eligible lineman downfield, but let's see what the official call will be.
Eligible receiver, illegally downfield, number 64, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
And that was exactly the call. And when you run those screen passes, the linemen don't know the quarterback's holding the ball. They have an internal clock on screen passes. What they teach the linemen is you hold your block till 5, then you release downfield. So when the timing is off and that guy's downfield, easy call for the official.
First and 15. St. G, he's going to keep it, and he gets those 5 yards back, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, which is the 24.
And I am becoming more and more impressed with this young man and his poise and his ability when he reads the defense and he's seeing there's nothing there. He's just taking what the defense will give him.
And we had a player shaken up for Fort Valley State, Ryan Bowman, and he is helped off the field quickly. Looks like he just needs a breather. He says, nah, no water for me. 2nd down and 11. Nearing the end of the 3rd quarter. St. G getting some pressure on the backside, and he will take this for a loss. Sack time for Fort Valley. Tracy Walker on the sack.
And Yee rolls out. He has nowhere to go with the football. It was a one-man route, and they plugged out. Every receiver was covered. They plugged all the holes. They actually came on a run blitz to stop that inside run game. A great defensive call by Coach Porter and his staff.
4 wide receivers set for Jules St. G on 3rd and long. And incomplete, intended for War, his running back, but incomplete.
And they got pressure off the ends almost instantaneously, and it threw off the timing of G.
Field goal opportunity here for Bill Rose. 45-yard field goal. And it is up, and he gets the English. 45-yard field goal is good, yes, with an exclamation mark. And with 27 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter, Kentucky State regains the lead 24-21. And it looked like during warm-ups that the kicker, Rose, was having some trouble getting acclimated to the turf and the wind, but it seemed as though John L. Smith in special teams, he finds the magic sauce, the secret sauce to make it work.
And again, good snap, good hold, good place down. It gives it a little top spin, goes right through the middle of the goalpost, splits the uprights, right down Main Street. It's good.
Not a bad job for Bill Rose. Trying to bring home their first ever football championship in the SIAC. And when talking to John L. Smith, he said, yeah, you may have to go back to the 40s and 50s, way before they were even a thought in the SIAC that they had a championship team. And the biggest thing that they're trying to do is get the word out, not only on campus, but in the city and the region of Frankfort, Kentucky, that yes, they do play competitive football at Kentucky State. High bounce, and taken by Fort Valley at about the 24-yard line. Flag is thrown, and this all may be coming back rather quickly on that kick return. And we've got some flags flying. Love now being spread over there on the Fort Valley sideline. They don't want to get any more. Travis Richmond on the return. And so far, our crew of officials, Rick Warren, Roderick Royal, Patrick Charles, Chris Piero, Don Guidry, Christopher Brown, Quinn Payne, and Eric Aponalis, our officials today. So far, a relative clean ball game.
And these two teams aren't penalized a lot, and they show they are very disciplined, with the exception of maybe this play where we've got more flags on the field than fly at the United Nations.
So it may be multiple infractions. We did see a flag on the field thrown at about the 31. Then once it got to the sidelines, there were additional flags that were thrown. So it looks like our referees are trying to discuss exactly what the call will be and how they will mark it off. Let's see what Mr. Warren has to say.
Illegal block in the back. Return team number 1, 10-yard penalty. After the play, personal foul, kicking team, personal foul, receiving team. Those penalties offset. First down.
Okay, we've sorted that one out.
And through all of that, they offset.
And Coach Kevin Porter, he was a coach in the old AF2 Arena Football League with the Macon Knights, and a very good one. He actually took Macon Knights to an AFL championship.
Not bad. And can he lead Fort Valley to their first championship since 1999? You see Otis Brown's numbers: 1 touchdown, 1 interception, only 7 completions. But he has done a lot with his legs. And another spectacular run by Otis Brown. Coach said that they had to get the best 11 athletes on offense, and he is undoubtedly one of the best. And the quarter will run out, and we go to the final quarter of play. 24-21 is your score. Kentucky State 1 quarter away from making history, but Fort Valley on the drive trying to make their own history under first-year head coach Kevin Porter. And the student body of Kentucky State has made the trip from Frankfort all the way down to Montgomery, and they're 15 minutes of playing time away from hoisting their first ever SIAC Football Championship trophy, but Fort Valley is trying to take it out of the horse's mouth.
And how do you do that? You play disciplined, sound, defensive football. But Otis Brown today hasn't done a lot with his arm. 7 for 15 so far with 121 yards passing, but he's run the ball. He's the team's leading rusher at 55 yards on 7 carries.
Brown. Trying to find a receiver, can't, getting some pressure. Finally finds someone open. He's skirting the sideline and steps out of bounds. Jamari Clark on the reception.
And right here, they were trying to get a wheel route on the backside. It wasn't there. So Brown gets it to the only man, this check down guy, Jamari Clark, to pick up the first down yardage.
And it looks like they're trying to get the right personnel on, and they have to call a timeout. And Otis is not happy. He's trying to get the right personnel there. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will see if Fort Valley can calm themselves down and move forward as they trail by 3, 24-21, right here on the Spy. (24-21) is your score in favor of the Thoroughbreds of Kentucky State. Otis Brown forced to call a timeout, possibly had too many men on the field, but right now they're trying to find an open man, and they do. Catch is made. Enough for a first down, and they move the chains. Richmond on the reception.
And right here, play action freezes the linebackers. He puts it right over the linebackers, completes it to Cramton Richmond. 20-yard reception, moves the chains, first down for Valley.
Trailing by as many as 14 points, Otis Brown has led his team back into this ball game, tying it up in the third, but then Kentucky State with a field goal to take the lead. Nice throw and incomplete. Intended for Walker.
And they had
checked that it wasn't Walker. Pass was intended for Bordarius Johnson.
And Brown looks at him all the way, had the right play call. The receiver turned in. If he would have ran to the pylon, I think the play was called for him to go to the pylon. Had he went that way, it would have been touchdown.
Second and 10, ball at the 23. John L. Smith is saying that the play clock expired, and you can see him on the sidelines, and a flag has been thrown. And they're going to get John L. for
sideline infraction.
Sideline infraction.
Head coach of the defense. Half distance to the goal. First down.
And you can see the passion of John L. Smith. He is trying to get his team with this championship trophy in their hands. They can taste it. And that moves Fort Valley closer to a score.
After the penalty, first and goal at the 12-yard line.
First and 10, ball at the 12. They can get a first down without scoring. Fumble on the play.
Kentucky State saying they've got it.
Fort Valley.
And they are scrumming for that football. Oh, and got to make sure that they don't hit the official. Rodriguez Jones trying to get that ball, and looks like an exchange on the quarterback running back exchange, and you see Jones right there. He is fighting for it, but it's obvious that Brown has
Sportsmanlike conduct, defense number 32. That is his first of the game. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
And he is ejected from the game because he did come in contact with the official.
A tough break.
Well, did they eject him from the game? They did not eject him from the game. Okay, but he did have contact with the official.
I think it was a personal foul, unnecessary roughness in the struggle for the football.
First and goal.
There's a wheel route wide open.
Brown getting some pressure. Uses his feet to elude one defender, but this time he is quickly brought down by Nick Beckham.
And Brown was running for his life. He missed two open receivers. They had a wheel route going in the back corner of the end zone wide open, and then he had a guy on the back goal line wide open. He missed both of them.
Second down. Kevin Porter is given two gifts by John L. Smith. Two penalties have moved them inside the 10, but now they've been pushed back to the 10-yard line. Pitch and catch, incomplete. Pass intended for Weems.
And that play was open, the previous play, and they came right back out to it. Weems just couldn't quite pull it in, but the Kentucky State defenders were right there to close that down.
Goal to 10.
Third down. Brown looking for Weems, can't find him. Cutting clear across the field, trying to find his way to the goal line, and this time he is brought down by Ryan Luckett.
And Brown showed us a Barry Sanders-esque type run. Doesn't gain very much yards, but he ran about 60 yards to gain about 3.
And you can see that he is fatigued after this drive. he has left it all out on the field with 10 minutes, 33 seconds left to play in this game. Down by 3. It'll be Cerna with a chip shot field goal. Kick is no good.
Wow.
Cerna's kick falls short, and with 10-10 left to play in the game, Kentucky State's defense stands true as they hold on to a 3-point lead right here on Aspire.
Why are you deleting these photos?
Because my teeth are yellow.
Why don't you use a whitening toothpaste?
I'm afraid it's bad for my teeth.
Try Crest 3D White.
Crest 3D White Diamond Strong Toothpaste and Rinse. Gently whiten and fortify weak spots. Used together for 2 times stronger enamel. Crest 3D White.
Stubborn frizz needs smoothing care. Garnier.
Welcome back to Kentucky SIAC Championship game. Kentucky State with a 3-point lead. Join Aspire on social media. Check them out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at tvaspire.com. Looks like there is a fumble on the play. And they are scrumming for the football. And they're saying that Fort Valley has recovered the loose ball.
And Gee fumbled the ball. It didn't look like he didn't tuck it in cleanly.
Samuel Good with the fumble recovery. He does have a rather soft way of holding on to that football. You don't really see him really hold on to it, secure it properly, and Samuel Good is the recipient of the loose ball, which means Otis Brown comes back onto the field with another opportunity to either tie or help his team take the lead. Playing with another short field, find the Wildcats as they trail by 3. And Rodriguez Jones on the tackle.
And right here, they didn't block Jones. Jones widens out, and a bad read by Otis Brown. When the defensive end widens out on that read option, you tuck it under and get what you can. So Jones now adds, coming into this game, he had 9 tackles for loss. Now make it 10.
Brown looking for a receiver, incomplete.
He had him open, but that ball was in the air just a little bit too long. It gave the defensive back a chance to recover. A tough break for the Fort Valley State Wildcats.
Some fans who've been watching the entire ball game may think, why not just run it? That's what got you back into this game.
And I agree.
You still have plenty of time. You have 9:19 left to play, but it looks like offensive powers that be want to throw it. Brown getting some pressure. And he's going to run, but still short of the first down, out of bounds at the 15.
And I wouldn't be surprised. He decided to run that ball when he rolled out. There was nobody open downfield. Again, great coverage by the Kentucky State Thoroughbreads secondary.
9 yards. 4th and 4.
And once again, it'll be a field goal opportunity for Juan Cerna. He missed a chip shot field goal that could have tied the game, and now he'll have another opportunity.
32-yard field goal.
And this looks like some confusion on special teams. They need to take a timeout.
And looks like they may have lined up wrong. A lot of motion there along the line.
Offense, number 70, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Monreal Cruz called for the movement. Number 70, just a freshman.
And with 8:44, I don't know, I might have gone for this one.
37-yard attempt.
Cerna kick is up. And this time it is true. Push it back 5 yards, and all of a sudden he can make it happen. And you see that coach is fired up because with 8:32 left to play, we are once again tied at 24.
Cerna so far this season was 5 for 6 coming into the game. Now he's 6 for 8 on field goal attempts. So now we've got a tie ball game, 8:32, and it's just like it's a 0-0 ball game once again for the final 8 minutes.
And when you think about tight ball games, it was Kentucky State won a 10-9 barn burner against Tuskegee at Tuskegee for their homecoming, which propelled them to the point where we are now, which is the SIAC championship game.
And that was one of those games, and Coach Smith talked about this today. He wanted his players to leave everything on the field. And that was one of those games they left everything on the field or in the Dust Bowl in Tuskegee, Alabama.
Cerna with the kick. Over to Harris at his own 8. Pushed back to the 6. There's a long flag thrown. And he does a nice spin move, another move, keeps his feet, has some more room to run, but this time eventually brought down at the 26-yard line. And there are 2 flags, one at the 26 and one at the 26 hash, or they'll say it was pushed back at the 21.
Holding, return team, number 86, 10-yard penalty, first down.
And John L. Smith is like, who? There's no way we were holding. Good sign, speaking up for his team. And now it'll be Jules St. G with 8 minutes and 18 seconds. And he has to drive the length of the field in order to get them in scoring territory. You see his numbers, not necessarily the greatest, but that's been the whole season. But he has found ways to lead his team to victory. Option, keeper, and he pays the price for it. Gets maybe to the line of scrimmage, possibly lost a yard on the play. Tackled by Cannon Thomas.
Cannon Thomas with a tackle. Play failed again, 2nd and 10.
St. G finds his tight end Ramsey, and Ramsey able to get some positive yards. Big Jake, 6'3", 268, just a freshman. The future is bright for Kentucky State and also Fort Valley. A number of freshmen have played significant times, not only this season, but in tonight's game.
We talk about it. Fort Valley has 30 freshmen on this roster.
G. Pass complete to Jonathan Powell, and he's able to get a first down and more out to about the 30-yard line.
Jonathan Powell with a reception.
G rolls out on a design throw just to get it out.
First down, Thorobreads.
And good footwork, staying in bounds, fighting for those extra yak or yards after the catch.
.646. Trying to be deliberate in what they do, eating up some clock, but still moving forward. Pitch and catch, incomplete. And a late flag is thrown, possibly a pass interference, but we'll see what the official call will be.
Charles Johnson came on a slant route because the safety played off.
Interference, the ball was tipped. Second down.
Ah, the ball was tipped.
Second and 10.
Let's see what it looks like on the replay. Ooh, yes, it was tipped.
Good call by the officiating crew. As we were talking about that, one of the knocks on G was the fact that he throws the ball low. And if those defensive linemen got their hands up, they would make a play.
Almost intercepted, 2 defenders right there. Incomplete. Still intended for Johnson.
And Johnson was the defensive back, the Sam linebacker coming over to help out. And that was a tight window that G was trying to throw the football into. And when you're going to throw that ball in that kind of situation, make sure you look off, because that defense is going to read your eyes. Look somewhere else before you come back to that receiver.
Third down. Finds Johnson finally, but this time he sees a host of white jerseys, and he is quickly brought down.
Johnson on the reception, play gain 2 yards, 4th and 8.
So now playing it what we will say is conservative for this game, because Kentucky State has had a number of trick plays that have worked, but John L. Smith and company opting to play conservative to put it in the hands of their defense. Turner Warren to punt, and Walker back deep for Fort Valley. And Walker will take it at his own 34-yard line. Players wants a flag thrown, but nothing has happened. 5:40 left to play in the game. We're all tied up at 24. You're watching the SIAC Championship game on Aspire. All tied up at 24. 5 minutes, 40 seconds left to play in this game. Otis Brown, the senior who had to move positions going back to his original position of quarterback, has an opportunity to lead his team to what could be a game-winning score. Jamari Clark on the carry.
Clark carries it for 2 yards, second and 8.
Trying to draw Kentucky State offside. We've seen the Wildcats come back from 14 down to tie this game. Finds Clark, room to run, beyond midfield and more. Spin move brought down at the 45, enough for a Wildcat first down.
And right here, Brown had a little trouble with the snap, but was able to regain his composure and was back. Clark slips out in the open behind the linebacker. The linebacker playing zone, didn't quite get deep enough in his drop. Brown throws it over the top, completion, 1st and 10 for the Wildcats.
Give to Clark, and this time Jones right there to wrap him up quickly and bring him down.
And once again, I keep seeing this with Otis Brown in the read on that defensive end. He's supposed to be reading that defensive end. It looks like he's giving him a hard read. But on the same note, when he gives you the hard read, you go ahead and take what the defense gives you.
Brown with time. Flag is thrown, and Brown is off and running. Trying to keep his feet, and does inside the 20, brought down at about the 16-yard line, but this may be all be coming back because of
offense, number 74, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Hold on Brian Cornish, one of the team captains for this evening's game.
And right there, it was close. I don't know, it was almost a takedown, but he let go.
Do you think if he was moving his feet and not throwing his hands up, he could have gotten away with it?
Yes.
So instead of 1st and 10 inside the 30, now it's 2nd and 20 from your own 45. Pitch and catch. Reception made by Lorenzo Smith, getting back to the original line of scrimmage of the 44-yard line of Kentucky State. 3 minutes and 5 seconds and counting. So now 3rd and 10. The defense for Kentucky State has held for most of this game, but they have been on the field for the second half the majority of the time. Fatigue may be setting in, but for these young guys, Coach John L. Smith has told them, please play with reckless abandonment and leave it all out on the field. And tonight, both teams have done just that. Brown. Going to use his legs. Has some room to run. Flag is thrown, and we may have had a hold. Possibly on Bolden Davis, no word yet.
Holding. Holding. Fence number 8. Spot foul. 10-yard penalty. 4 down.
And it looked like Bolden was the guy, and Coach Porter trying to keep his composure.
He was not a happy camper. He didn't have to hold on that play.
3rd and 14.
The senior saying, that's not me, that's not me. It wasn't my fault, Coach. Young man out of Jonesboro, suburb of Atlanta. Incomplete. Brings up a 4th down. Punting situation for Fort Valley, or will they go for it with 2 minutes, 7 seconds left to play?
Well, you've got to play conservative, because if you don't get the 1st down, you're going to give Kentucky State possession of the football in prime real estate. So you've got to punt it, and now it's a game of field position.
Cerner, who does all the kicking for Fort Valley. Harris back deep for Kentucky State at his own 10. They went after it. No flag. There was contact with the kicker. No flag. And it will be down at about the 7-yard line.
At the 8-yard line, 1st down.
And they're just checking to make sure Cerner is okay, but it was incidental contact.
He came within a whisker of blocking that punt. And we talked with Coach Davis, Coach Smith earlier, and special teams. He had a special teams meeting this morning, and could that have been one of the things he drew up so his guys can make a play when the chips were down.
And for Jules St. G, number 9, the freshman quarterback out of Lakeland, Florida, he can go 92 yards and put his team, his school, in the record books. He can become the quarterback that could propel his team to their first ever SIAC championship.
And he doesn't really have to go the full length. If they can get it to around the 25-yard line, that would be a 45-yard field goal attempt. I think he made a 45-yarder earlier today.
Stoppage of play because we did have a player down for Kentucky State. He is back up and walking off the field. which means now that offense led by Jules St. G, the freshman of the year in the SIAC, takes the field, and they need to get at least to the 20-yard line to give their kicker an opportunity to kick this game to victory. But with 1:54, they're trying to do whatever it takes to get themselves out of this hole. And incomplete. Pass intended for Jonathan Powell.
Incomplete. Second and 10.
And Powell, not one of the favorite receivers, only made one reception this year.
You see his numbers, 6 of 16, 78 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He has not had a completion beyond 20 yards this half. Give on the keeper, St. G. Able to get some positive yards. We're at 141 and counting.
But I think Kentucky State might, if they don't get a first down here, they might just go ahead and run clock and play for overtime.
Overtime in the SIAC championship game. Can't beat it. Looks like a fumble on the play, but St. G able to hold on to it. And forward progress will get him pushed back, but not further than the original line of scrimmage of the 9. It was razor close. And the ball goes up in the air, and if the defender would have went after the ball, he would have been the greatest hero in Fort Valley State history.
And Gee almost loses it. He wanted to give it to the back coming out of the backfield. The back was expecting not to get it. And so those guys weren't on the same page. A huge, huge break for the Thoroughbreds as it's now 4th down. Clock's under 1 minute.
Both teams are fatigued. Special teams now will be important. For Jules St. G, his first opportunity to play in the SIAC championship game. Not necessarily impressive numbers, but impressive to get his team, this institution, celebrating their 130th year of existence. 46 seconds away from either overtime or an opportunity to say that they are SIAC champs. For Fort Valley, Kevin Porter, his first opportunity to coach in the SIAC, and they will have the ball in their hands if this punt is successful to try to make their own destiny.
And right here, if I'm Fort Valley, I'm selling out to try to block this kick.
Warren gets it to Walker. Walker from midfield. Walker eludes one defender. Flag is thrown. 2 flags.
Ryan Walker will return. There is a marker on the play.
So blocking the back, pushes them back into Fort Valley territory. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line. And now you've got to put in your 35-second drill. You just got to get close enough for Cerna to try to kick a field goal.
For them, Cerna's career long is 48 yards. So they're going to have to get to around the 30, 31-yard line for a legitimate attempt for Cerna.
And for Otis Brown, man who has played multiple positions this season, going back to his original position of quarterback, trying to make history and bring home a championship, the first since 1999, and there is a flag.
to the delay of game. First and 15.
That penalty is going to make it tougher as a coach. You hate those kind of non-hustle fouls.
Brown. He's going to keep it and run. Makes it to midfield, gets those negative yards back and a little bit more, gets to the 49-yard line. Clock is still running, 20 seconds, and timeout called by Fort Valley.
Timeout. Fort Valley, that is their final timeout.
They do not have another timeout, so everything now, you need to go downfield towards the sidelines. Correct, Eric?
Correct. If you can get a completion around the 30-yard line and get down quick enough to spike it, you've got time for 2 plays, possibly 3. But if you can get a completion down the middle inside the 30 and get a spike play, you have a legitimate shot at winning this game in dramatic fashion.
We haven't had this type of drama since Albany State won their last SIAC Football Championship. Miles was driving, and it was a late interception that iced the game for Albany State. But now for Fort Valley, Otis Brown, fighting fatigue, aches and pains that you have during the season. 22 seconds left. He just needs to get them close to give Cerner an opportunity to kick their way to a championship. Brown. Pitch and catch stayed inbounds. They got to hurry up, but the clock never started, and now the clock has started. There was a slight delay on the clock. Now it's moving. It's at 10 seconds. Brown, quick strike, finds a receiver. Does he have time? Oh, it looks like they're not going to have time to get a play off. But wait a minute. Let's see. They have to stop the clock to move the chains. So how much time will they have? They got to move. Everybody's got to move. And they're going to try to kick it. How much time are they putting on the clock? There is a little confusion. Our officials have done a spectacular job. The reception by Christopher Weems, it looked like it was a first down. They do have to stop the clock to move the chains, but then immediately start it. But as you can see, there is no time left on the clock. So they will say no time is left, and we will be going into an extra session.
And Coach Porter is all the way to the hash mark wanting an explanation.
He's saying they should have had 4 seconds left because he did make the first down. They're supposed to stop the clock to move the chains.
And I think what the officials were saying was that his forward progress, he was still moving forward as the clock was still running. Had he caught the ball, gotten the first down, and taken a knee, they might have stopped the clock and gave him a chance to kick a field goal.
And looks like he's trying to make sure that his microphone is working, but it is overtime. When we come back, we'll have one extra session to decide who will walk away with the SIAC Championship trophy, all tied up at 24 right here on Aspire.
Why?
And we are going into overtime. James Verretta along with Eric Tabor, all tied up at 24. What you did miss during the commercial break, the official did state that the clock did not operate properly and start on time, which means the time had hit the end of regulation at the end of that play, which meant that we are going into overtime, and now we will have a flip of the coin.
And Coach Porter is not a happy camper right now.
And both of these teams have left it all out on the field. It has been a fantastic ball game between two teams trying to make their mark.
The call is heads. It is tails. Fort Valley State, first down.
And Kentucky State won the toss. They have deferred to have an offensive possession last, which means that it will be Fort Valley who will have the first possession in overtime. Overtime rules, each team will have an offensive possession unless the defending team scores while the other team is on, obviously, offense.
And you love overtime, but it's a nerve-wracking event if you're a player. As a fan, it's a nail-biter. But you enjoy these types of games if you're sitting at home watching on your couch eating some Cheetos.
Cheetos?
Cheetos. Nothing better than cheese dust on your hands.
And you see the Kentucky State University Marching Band. They have entertained the crowd along with the Fort Valley State Marching Band. And it's Otis Brown who will have to orchestrate his team from the 25 going in. They will have an opportunity to make a first down. But now it's their opportunity here in overtime to try to break this 24-all tie. Brown on the keeper, spin move, goes nowhere fast, and is brought down, well, not before he may have gained 1 yard. And for Otis Brown, he has really used his feet for most of the game, but also his arm to keep his team in this ball game. 2nd down and 9. And he's going to try to throw and find a receiver, and will they say incomplete? No, they say a reception. Catch is made by Bordarius Johnson.
And Brown looks back, sees his man running down the middle of the field open, throws it where only his guy could get it.
Good catch. Now 1st and goal, ball at the 10. Brown throws on his knees, incomplete, pass intended for Weems.
Good effort by Brown. Brown looks to his left, rolls to his right, under some duress, just gets rid of it, almost has a receiver to come up with a reception. 2nd down.
Second down and goal. Brown looking for a receiver, can't find anybody. Pitch and catch incomplete. Close, trying to find Chauncey Jackson. Safety valve from the running back position, but incomplete.
And right here, when he rolls out, he pulls that linebacker out and leaves Jackson open. You got to come up with those kinds of catches.
Looks like his feet gave way and he slid a little bit too much.
But now it's 3rd down. And as a coach, you're gonna have to think about now, if we don't score here, do I kick the field goal?
Third and goal, ball still at the 10. Brown getting some pressure on the backside, and he is brought down. Huge sack for Kentucky State.
And And Keontae Reynolds, Johnny on the spot. He's getting a lot of duress, but he will not be denied this sack. And that's going to bring up a 4th down, and now that's going to make this a 43-yard field goal attempt for the Fort Valley State Wildcats. A huge, huge break for the Thoroughbreds.
Cerner. Kick is up and good. 43-yard kick by Juan Cerner. Good. 27-24, Fort Valley State.
Cerner gets the shooter's kick. I guess you call it in basketball, it would be the shooter's roll. So now it's Kentucky State's turn on offense. Both these teams have played overtime games this season. Fort Valley defeated Clark Atlanta 37-31 on September 17th. And Kentucky State knocked off Central State 17-14 on September 24th.
So now it's up to Jules St. G. Reverse. On the keeper. Able to get 1, possibly 2 yards is Demetrius Anderson.
And another one of those trick plays. And John L. Smith is pulling out all the stops now because there is no tomorrow.
No tomorrow, leave it all out on the field. St. G on the carry, able to get close to a 1st down. Maybe a half a yard short.
And so now Kentucky State is going to play for the win. A touchdown here ices it, and John L. Smith will win another conference championship. His first at Kentucky State.
First at Kentucky State and first ever in the school's history in the SIAC. 3rd down and short. Give, and he is stonewalled, which will bring up 4th and short.
And now you've got to bring on the field goal unit, and we go to a second overtime. And here comes the field goal unit.
We've got a swirling wind. Do you go for it or you say kick?
You've got to kick it.
Bill Rose. Wind is a crosswind across the Cramton Bowl.
This is his career-long 35 yards. This is a 34-yard attempt.
And they're going to try to ice him. And the players for Kentucky State are praying. The players for Fort Valley are fired up.
Right now, what you have to make sure is you get a good snap and a good hold in this situation. So Bill Rose, the kicker, Turner Warren is going to be the holder. And this is going to be interesting because you've got to get a good snap off. So now you wonder what the chess match, what's going on in these coaches, what are they telling the players right now? If I were Coach John L., I'd say just relax, let's play our game. We'll go to another overtime, we'll reset it and try it again.
I mean, hey, let's go home. Try a trick play. Come on, John.
But John L. Smith is also not only the head coach, but he's the special teams coach for these Reds.
Bill Rose trying to make this game go. Another period. 34-yard attempt. Kick is up. And it is true. And we will go into another extra session, all tied up at 27.
Oh, man. I think we need to.
Bill is smelling like a rose with his 34-yard kick to propel us to a second overtime. The SIAC Football Championship on Aspire. Come back, we got more football to play.
Akila is her name. Spelling words is her game.
Prestidgita.
Second overtime, and we reverse it. Now it is Kentucky State who has the ball first. First overtime, both teams connected on field goals. St. G finds Anderson, able to get enough for a first down to move the chains. And we have a lineman down, Moaga, for Kentucky State.
Moraga came on a pull right there, and he lost his helmet, and I think he got a face full of face mask as the helmet came off.
Yeah, you can tell, you can even see his eye. Maybe a little swollen there.
And I can tell you, I've been there, and that's a stinger. It hurts for a little while, but give you about 5 minutes and you're okay again.
Okay.
And they'll put some ice on it afterwards, and
then it'll hurt.
Then you'll be fine.
So when does it hurt? Does it ever hurt?
It does hurt, but you really feel it the next morning after you have the ice on it.
First and 10, ball at the 15. St. G. St. G getting pressure. And they're looking for a possible intentional grounding, but
intentional grounding. Number 95 is in the area. Second down.
And number 95 is their tight end.
And once again, Jules St. G does the smart thing, live to fight another down.
Kentucky State had a 14-0 lead in the first quarter. Fort Valley has slowly but surely come back into this game, and now in the overtime, both teams connected on field goals, and now we're in the second overtime. St. G getting some pressure, eludes one defender, throws for the end zone, and incomplete.
And I think we need to change St. G's name to Houdini here. How did he get away from that?
Seems as though every time somebody hits him straight on, he just sheds them down to the ground and keeps on going. Coach Smith trying to motivate his team to get them to believe that they can go beyond even his expectations and walk away with the championship trophy. Third down and 10. They need to get to the 5 to get a first down. St. G, pitch and catch, incomplete. Intended for War, and he just dropped it.
St. G looked nowhere but to his main receiver. Couldn't quite get it there, threw it just a little bit behind him. So now it's fourth down, and on comes the field goal unit.
Rose connected on a 34-yarder to send it to the second overtime. Now a 33-yard field goal. Kick is up, and it is true. Rose, smelling good. Mr. Bill connects. 30-27, and now it will be Fort Valley's opportunity on offense. And for John L. Smith, possibly 4 downs away from bringing home a championship trophy to the city of Frankfort, to Kentucky State University, and adding to the legend of John L. Smith.
And you know, when we talked with him earlier, he talked about how he didn't see this team being in this situation, and how he had a more of a 3-year plan, and he is well ahead of that 3-year plan right now.
Otis Brown started the season as the starting wide receiver, has played running back, and now back at his original position, quarterback. Chauncey Jackson on the carry. Gain 1 yard. Make it 2. 2nd and 8. Brown with time, finds a receiver. Cordarius Johnson able to get a first down and move the chains.
And there was some confusion in the secondary. Brown finds his man open because there was some confusion. They were talking back in the secondary, but nobody really picked up on the slot receiver.
Cordarius Johnson has been the hot receiver so far in the latter half of the 4th quarter and in the overtime. Brown trying to find a receiver, looking incomplete, thrown out of bounds, intended.
Second down and 10.
Incomplete. Pass was intended for Alfonso Martinez. Second overtime, 2nd down and 10. They can get inside the 5 and get a first. Brown on the keeper, getting down to the 10-yard line to bring up 3rd down. So at this point, how much is fatigue playing a factor for both lines?
It's actually gut check time. We used to talk about that in practice. This is the 4th quarter. The game's on the line. Who wants it more?
Right now we have a receiver down for Fort Valley State. Looks like that is Martinez. One of the freshmen, just 5'9", 175 from Buena Vista, Georgia. Now, where is Buena Vista?
Buena Vista, Georgia is just north of Columbus. It's kind of in between Atlanta and Columbus.
Okay. I've heard of Buena Vista, Florida, but not Buena. Do they have Disney-type rides over there in Buena Vista, Georgia?
No way, Jose.
And as you can see over on the sideline for Kentucky State, they are also huddling their team, trying to rally the troops.
Just like I said before, right now the coach is telling them this is gut check time. This is why we do all those sprints. This is why we do all the conditioning. Who wants it more?
Martinez being helped off the field, bringing up a 3rd down and 6. For the fans who have come down from Frankfort, I think they have been thoroughly entertained, but right now they want their defense to hold. Pitch and catch, out of bounds. Enough for a first down, depends on where they spotted Christopher Weems on the reception.
And here again, great design combo route. As you had a clear out receiver going deep and another one coming underneath. 1st and goal for the Wildcats.
Running out of time on the play clock, 14 seconds and counting. You see the fans all on their feet. Double overtime here in Montgomery's Cramton Bowl for the SIAC Football Championship. Ball placed at the 4. Timeout called by Fort Valley.
So now you've got, actually, this is 4-down territory. You play for the win here. You go ahead, set up first off with maybe a ground and pound type of play, then come back with a little play action.
Now for this defense.
And for the defense, you just play your scheme. You stay at home. Don't get sucked into some of those play action passes, because you know they're going to try to run the football. You know they're going to try to set you up with a play action pass. Play your defensive scheme. Stay at home.
Do you try to make a tackle, or you go for the strip?
You make the tackle.
To end this game.
You make the tackle. You wrap up and bring him down. This is not a situation where you would go for the strip.
Brown on the keeper, and they snuffed it out. Great defensive play by Kentucky State. Well of a job of Raymond Malone to find the football.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. Stay at home, play your assignment, and that's exactly what he did.
One of the few seniors for this defensive squad stepping up big.
And John L. senses this could be a big play, takes a timeout.
He said that he has a good relationship with this squad. As he says, this is a pure form of football because you don't have all the bells and whistles that you see on the higher level of football, but these kids play because they love the game. A lot of them are not on full scholarship, have to pay their own way. Some still have jobs and things of that nature because they're not on full scholarship. And he says, hey, if a kid comes to me and says, Coach, I got to miss practice, I got to go do this for the family, I got a class, I got this, he says he understands. Because when they are out there, they leave it all out on the field. It's been a labor of love, a work in progress. And for Kevin Porter's team, they had to accept him. When he showed up at fall camp, they didn't know who their coach would be. And all of a sudden, this guy who's from Warner Robins, played at Auburn, played and coached at many different spots, has led their team to this moment. 2nd down and goal, ball placed at the 11. Brown throwing to Jackson, touchdown, Fort Valley, touchdown, Fort Valley, Wildcats win, Wildcats win.
An unbelievable play call. They ran this play earlier, the tight end coming off, and it wasn't picked up the last time, and once again they call that play, and they did not cover the tight end coming out of the backfield.
Not since 1999 have we seen this level of ecstasy. For Chauncey Jackson, the junior, for Kevin Porter in his first season, final in double overtime, Fort Valley State Wildcats walk away with a 33-30 win over Kentucky State. And yes, he does get the Powerade shower. Congratulations, Fort Valley State University. You are 2016 SIAC champions. And for our crew, all season long, we have had a great job. For Eric Tabor, I'm James Barrett. Thank you for joining us all season. thank you for joining us here in Montgomery, Alabama at the Cramton Bowl. Your final score, in double overtime, the Wildcats walk away with a 33-30 victory and bring home the championship trophy right here on Aspire.